This tutorial covers the flight condition dialog window in Advanced Aircraft Analysis. The flight conditions are found on the bottom right. On the top of the window, you can see the flight condition dropdown. This contains the flight conditions that are currently defined in this aircraft file. Below are buttons to create a new, to edit the name of the flight condition, to delete flight conditions, to move flight conditions, or to copy flight conditions. Copying flight conditions can be very useful if you just want to alter one particular parameter within flight conditions, for example. Then we get to the actual data for this particular flight condition, and we start with the altitude, which is 8,000 feet in this case. The temperature deviation from standard day is 0, and the airspeed is 122 knots. You can also see the angle of attack and the angle of side slip. Another thing you can find is the aircraft current weight, as well as the CG location. Then there's a load factor and a flight path angle for this particular flight condition. You can also set the high lift device deflection and whether or not the spoiler and speed brakes are retracted or deployed. If you click on the high lift devices, the high lift device dialog window will open, where you can change the deflection angles for the current flight condition. Then there's more effects that can be defined. For example, the ground effects, whether it's on or off, and the power effects, as well as the engine rating and the steady state can be defined. On the top, you can see the longitudinal trim surface as well as the lateral trim surface. In this case, there's only one selection for this airplane for both cases. Then you can see the CG location, in this case aft, which is linked to the coordinates you can find here. The drag polar for the current flight condition can also be defined. The last two settings here are the include in Excel export and the include in recalculate windows. On the bottom, you can see multiple tabs. The next tab is the flying qualities category. In here, you can determine the flight phase that will be used to evaluate whether the flying qualities are adequate or not. Then the last tab is the notes tab. And here you can store notes for every single flight condition. We strongly encourage you to create a separate flight condition for any condition you like to analyze. This way, you can keep all the flight conditions organized and you can switch between them relatively quickly. This concludes the tutorial on the flight condition dialog window.